All right, so we're Team 10. Our project for this semester was to try and predict equity pricing through graph theory. One of the biggest reasons why we saw this project as important was because a lot of times investment funds and hedge funds really use these algorithmic, academically based theories and kind of force people to spend lots of money to enter into these investments. So for us, this was a way to democratize the whole algorithmic trading process and allow this kind of open source platform for people to obtain information regarding stocks by using an emerging academic field such as graph theory. So most of our semester has revolved around really trying to understand the graph theory, how to apply it to the stock market, meeting with our advisors and really understanding where we can go with this project, as well as kind of making a basis level network, which Leah's going to talk about a little bit, and then also kind of starting the bare bones for our framework for our web application that will eventually become extremely user-friendly and allow users to kind of see their stocks and how they're moving and understand the network a little more.
So coming in and giving a general overview of actually our design for this model that we're creating is it's based, as Julian mentioned, on graph theory. And so what that entails is that if you have a time series signal of the different stocks that we want to look at, so for example Apple and Microsoft, and we take their historic percent change in time, we can then find some type of correlation between these stocks about how much they move in the market together or how much they don't. And using that correlation value, we can then create them as edges in this graph network. So the graph network will have nodes of the different stocks, and then these edges are how correlated these stocks are. And then using this network, we can perform a graph Fourier transform on a current vector of these percent change in times of the stocks, and that will help us predict whether or not the current percent change of these stocks are in line with our network. And using that, we can then tell the user if like Apple is predicted to be like moving up in price for the next day or
not. In the fall, we mainly focused on developing our model, whereas in the spring we plan to flesh out the web app and how we intend to actually show the information we found to our users. However, we kind of created the bare bones of this web app, which uses a Python backend with Flask and a React front end. We've also played around with Recharge, which is a library we're using for graphing. Moving forward into the next semester, we want to experiment with different sorts of user interfaces, such as different graphs, a PageRank algorithm, and other ways to just kind of make information more readily accessible to users.